Hey, I just bought some airline stocks today. In fact, a huge 10% of my portfolio is now invested in the airline stocks. Many people would think that I'm losing it, but I mean, just look at how much airline stocks were raised during the past 1 week. And just look at what happened on Friday. The single craziest rally in airline stock history in a very long time, possibly the biggest one since 2008. So in this video, I want to discuss why I bought airline stocks even though their balance sheets and the stock prices are completely out of touch and disconnected. And is Warren Buffett right about his decision to sell all his airline stocks? Well, let's find out. So make sure to stay to the end of this video to decide if I'm making any sense or not. And if this is your first time watching a video from this channel, then please consider subscribing as I go through weekly topics ranging from personal finance, investment, to well-being. And I present topics in a way that is very easy to digest. Alright, so the airline stocks have been very volatile since the market hit the bottom in mid-March. But the stock prices mostly stay within range. However, long-term investors who invest based on value are selling off airline stocks. One great example is Warren Buffett, who sold off all his airline stocks just a few months ago. So what's keeping the airline stocks alive are mostly short to medium-term investors who want to take advantage of this current volatile trading climate, while totally disregarding all the financial issues the airlines are facing. But just recently, about 2 weeks ago, airline stocks kept rallying. It is unquestioned that airline stocks are one of the worst hit in the stock market. Day traders and short-term investors are also very aware of this. But think about it, what kind of stocks would rebound the most? Obviously, stocks that have sunk the most, and airline stocks are one of them. And you can bet that many short-term investors are buying and selling a lot during this time of uncertainty. Short-term investors kind of know where the bottom is and when to sell, because after all, there are many underlying financial issues attached to the airlines at the moment. Prices will not make any sense to rise that much. And that is also when short-term investors would say, hey, it's about time to sell. And this is also why airline stocks have been going up and down within a semi-predictable manner. But 2 weeks ago, since the long weekend in late May, the whole economy is finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. This optimism encouraged many short to medium-term investors to invest more money into the stock market, particularly highly excitable stocks such as the airline stocks. Airlines have been trying to survive from bad news to worse news, and finally, here comes some good news of the economy. Investors can't wait for the airline stocks to finally come back up. For the past 1 week, in my opinion, it is mostly day traders and short-term investors who have been raising the airline stock prices. And if we take a look at what happened on Friday, airline stocks went bizarre upon the opening of the market, just because the unemployment rate was reported to be lower than expected. In fact, the airline stock prices went so high, many day traders and short-term investors could not believe it. The prices were just so high for what they're worth, hence the quick correction in the prices thereafter. Fast forward to today on Monday, as expected, the prices surged at the beginning, and day traders made a small profit before selling them off as always. But this time, what's different is that the prices stay on and rally all the way until closing. This suggests to me that even the medium-term investors are jumping into the bandwagon and are finally losing the patience for the prices to ever come back down again. Everybody who is holding airline stocks right now, including myself, are very well aware that the airlines are facing huge financial issues as we speak. And the stock market prices are not representing all these underlying issues at all. But if the general direction of the stock market is moving upwards, then it is safe that the airline stocks will keep going upwards in the short term. So will airline stock crash? Yes, but not to the extent seen in mid-March. But a strong correction is definitely on its way. And when will this happen? Pretty much the same time as the rest of the stock market, if a mass correction is to happen. Look, most of the stocks across many different sectors right now are overpriced. They selectively excluded the financial burden many companies are still facing, and also disregarding the fact that there will be less money to be spent into the economy by the public. None of these seem to matter to the stock prices right now, which is so unreasonable and irrational. The main reason why Warren Buffett sold all the airline stocks and did not even bother to repurchase them during the rally is because he is a long-term and value investor. He will not invest into a company or a sector that is financially damaged or shouldering lots of burdens. For the long term, you have got to invest in companies that are financially sound and have feasible growth. Right now, airlines are struggling and it would take them years just to clean up their financial mess. Until airlines can clearly demonstrate that they have lowered their liability and increased their liquidity, long-term investors would not really be looking into getting any significant amount of airline stocks. For now, only day traders, short and medium-term investors are in it for the money. And for those who have recently purchased airline stocks or are going to do so, I urge you not to put too much money into the stocks, as they will be highly volatile for the foreseeable future. And God forbid, they can tank anytime. So you have to closely monitor the airline stocks for the next few weeks. And if you're not sure which airline stocks to buy, consider getting the airline ETFs, JETS. It has all the major airlines in the US. And lastly, how long should you be holding these airline stocks? Well, I don't see myself carrying these stocks for more than 2 to 3 months, as many reports are already suggesting that a second outbreak may happen sometime towards the end of the summer. And at that time, I guarantee that airline stocks will sink once again. And I'm also expecting that there will be some small turbulence from now until then. So make sure you keep an eye on your airline stocks. But if you don't want to spend too much time watching the news, then just don't invest too much. Like I said, even for myself, I only use 10% of my portfolio for airline stocks, even though I do monitor my stocks perpetually. Alright, so what do you feel about airline stocks? Leave me a comment down below, and if you find this information useful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribing to this channel. And come back here in the future to see if I'm right or not. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and peace out.